Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to CTQ Weekly, the show where we here are changing the questions, discuss everything that's been going on this week in professional wrestling. My name is Paul Laporte, and joining me for this roundtable discussion are my co-hosts in the upper right-hand corner, currently with terrible video quality, Mr. Daniel Peruzzi. Two Guns. How you doing?
Is the video quality that bad?
Oh, and the audio quality is terrible too. In the lower left, Mr. Kobe Schoolman.
The wait is over.
And in the lower right, Shonda Gamer, Mr. Antoine Clay.
If you close your eyes, you can't see me.
All right, so big week in professional wrestling, coming into almost an even bigger week upcoming here. So let's go ahead and get things started. Obviously, we took a week off for the 4th of July holiday. Hope everybody had fun with that. However, we're going to get right into it with the biggest story of the week, the final deletion.
Yes.
Great.
Jump right into it.
Great wrestling angle or greatest wrestling angle? That's the question I'm proposing to all of you today. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, the absolute and total chaos, anarchy that was the final deletion for TNA, paying off and giving them roughly a 25% ratings boost to the last episode of Impact.
Amazing.
Seems good.
All right, so what are our general thoughts of this angle? Are we going to be the purist curmudgeons who think that this is going to kill professional wrestling, or do we think this is amazing?
I mean, wrestling-wise, you can say whatever you want about the match, but just the pure spectacle of it all was great. Like, you can't sit there, and I watched the director's cut. It's like 16 minutes long, and I was entertained the whole time. From, like, the birthday party all the way up to the plot twist at the end. It was great.
Kobe, what'd you think of the angle?
Well, I mean, I'm probably the biggest fan of Matt Hardy I know, and he pretty much made this perfect. And by the way, for those of you who think wrestling is dead because of this, remember, in the late 90s, we were rooting for a guy whose whole purpose was to drink beer and kick ass.
Well, not only that, but at around the same time, we had an undead zombie mortician whose demon brother was spawned by his funeral worker, parlor manager / stepfather.
And
come the fuck on.
I mean, when you think about that, wrestling, what you think is wrestling, you curmudgeons, is already dead. And for the people that actually appreciated this, which I think is, I don't know, half of the wrestling fan population, you understand the beauty of it all. I want to see more fun in wrestling. And this is exactly it, where it's so bad that it turns to amazingness. I mean, where else would I be lying in bed for a solid 10 minutes laughing over the fact that a guy whose hair looks like Cruella de Vil's demented stepbrother was talking about getting into a dilapidated boat to shield himself from his brother shooting fireworks at him.
Yeah.
That's a pipe dream.
If anybody out there happens to watch the Ranker series from Puppet called Why Raw Didn't Suck, which is, if you haven't seen it, is really worth watching because it's this guy who uses a big blue puppet to describe why Raw was good that week. It is a really fun segment. But during that, he has this thing of like naming some silly thing that happened and saying that if you don't like this, I don't think professional wrestling is for you. Like, you know, for example, it's like, if you don't appreciate a man who can bench press 500 pounds walking around in a pink cape threatening to throw a birthday cake on people, I don't think wrestling's for you. And I saw this and I immediately thought of him because it's like, if you don't appreciate a man destroying his older brother's robot army with an acoustic guitar while said brother ruins his landscaping, I don't think professional wrestling is for you. This was, like you said, Kobe, I mean, professional wrestling, we've said it 100 times on the show, it's not a movie, it's the movies. It's not a television show, it's television. It is a medium to deliver art and a story, and you need to have silly bullshit, and this was the silliest bullshit maybe ever, except for, like I said, going back to those days that everybody heralds when we had a wrestling porn star getting his penis cut off by Japanese mafia. I mean,
Booker T and Stone Cold fought in a gas station.
yes,
Supermarket.
or a supermarket, whatever.
My
It
God.
wasn't in a wrestling ring like
Yeah.
this wasn't, but people still enjoyed it.
This is probably the weirdest thing to happen in America in 10 years at least, but this is by no means the strangest thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling. Also, the fact of, Kobe, you said you're a big fan of the Hardys. I haven't been for a really long time.
I never said the Hardys, just Matt.
Okay.
Jeff sort of bores me.
Okay, but I was, I liked Matt Hardy in his V1 days when he was doing like the late cruiserweight run around WrestleMania 19 or so. I do like that they had a throwback to the V1 thing with with his little fucking robot, which is fantastic.
That was great.
But I haven't cared about him. I've seen him on TNA, I've seen him in Ring of Honor, and on the Indies. I've seen them live. Matt Hardy was at the last indie show I went to for 2CW. He was there. He was fine, but I didn't really care. But now what they've done is they've taken themselves and made it so people care about what they're doing as characters, which arguably nobody ever did ever. If you like the Hardys, you like the Hardys because, Jeff was jumping off a high shit, or, you like the way they looked, or you like their gimmick, but you didn't really care about who they were as people. You didn't care about who they were as characters. And this is certainly on Matt's end. Jeff is still basically a cardboard cutout of, a guy you would see at Ozfest or something. But I mean, Matt Hardy is doing some amazing work and realizing that he can be something silly and ridiculous and wonderful. And it's just like, I hear people who are like, oh, well, if they meant for this to be funny, then it worked, but if they meant for it to be serious, who the fuck, why would you think this was meant to be serious? He's like,
Nothing serious about this.
he literally says, it's a dilapidated boat. How do you, what makes you think that this was in any way, shape, or form meant to be taken with any sort of fucking gravitas? Nope. This was meant to be silly, crazy soap opera chaos, and the match was but there were some pretty brutal spots in there. That swanton
like that
from
ladder spot?
Yeah, the swanton from the tree was rough. Holy shit, that was rough. And then the final one where he fell off the cymbal onto the pile of goddamn dirt. There was some hard bumps there, and these guys put a lot of thought into this big ridiculous thing. And if this was being done in DDT in Japan, we would all be going nuts for it. Give TNA their credit for letting these guys do something crazy, and it's paid off for them. And I just hope that they continue to keep the ball rolling.
I have one problem with this, though. I read somewhere someone was saying how, because of this, either TNA has to go full-on crazy for a lot of things, or their entire product is going to suffer. Because if you stop and think about it, Destination X is tomorrow. Their live special on Pop TV. And I don't think anyone even knows what's going on. I looked up the card. There's some 6-way #1 contenders match featuring Rockstar Spud and whatnot. Eddie Edwards is facing Lashley. EC3's facing Drew Galloway. But who really cares about that? All people care about at this point is the final deletion. It's absolutely insane. But unless TNA realizes just how stupid they have to become in order for everything to actually work out, then, I don't know, the product could actually sink because they're not doing the stupid stuff. It's a weird thing to say, but it's kind of true.
That might be a little early to jump to that conclusion. I mean, I haven't seen it myself. I wanted to watch the director's cut or to find a longer, more in-depth look at it and just spend a whole block of time watching it. Mm-hmm. But, my experience with it is seeing Reddit just talk about it nonstop. I haven't seen that much talk about any specific TNA thing in ages.
No.
And that much positive talk about TNA in as long as I've known TNA existed. So, it's still very new. It's still very much just happened. Maybe it brings in all kinds of fans who just want to see this crazy stuff. And if maybe they stick around for Destination X, and if they watch that and it's a decent card, maybe that brings more viewers in. I think it's a bit too early to make that.
You see, some of the big things here. Also, TNA Impact, their YouTube channel, they did put up the full run of the final deletion.
All right.
So you can go ahead and watch it on there. Like I said, it's 18 minutes long, but they have the whole thing there.
Worth it. Worth every minute.
Yes.
So the biggest problem that TNA has right now is the fact that they have limited exposure with this channel. And they have virtually no footprint online. I should be able to watch episodes of TNA Impact by just going to the Pop TV website, firing it up, and there it is. I can't do that. I wanted to. I wanted to watch this whole last episode of Impact rather than just the final Deletion sketch. I couldn't find it anywhere. So without having to go get a torrent of the thing or find somebody who has, who has cable, I haven't had cable in 6 years. I don't, and there's more and more people who don't, and I think that if you're going to be a company that needs to get eyes on this thing, you have to have a better forward-facing presence, and I think TNA is really awful at doing that in general. As a matter of fact, when Evan was trying to do the recaps for the site, he would send the article along to me, and I would try and do like I do for, like Peruzzi does for the Raw recap, and Earl does for SmackDown, like find clips online or pictures and then put them up to highlight the matches and whatnot. TNA half the time didn't put anything up. It's like they need somebody to realize that if they're going to survive and they're going to bring in people, that they need to kind of utilize the internet better. And
yeah, that's one thing I noticed that WWE does with their marketing. The superstars, they'll take pictures of the event, but wait till they're probably, when they take SmackDown, like Natty will take pictures at the event, but don't post them until Thursday. So that's what the TNA stars need to do: start bringing more self-promotion to TNA.
Not only that, but just TNA as a whole, as the company, they need to
even the network, like WWE, like you said, you don't have cable. A lot of people, I worked at Best Buy, people are dropping cable left and right. So you get a network, or USA will put up Raw or Hulu or something. They need something like that, like you're saying, to survive.
Or I mean, I know they've shown some pay-per-views with Fight TV. They should just make a deal where they can put that on their weekly show up on there. I don't know what kind of deal they have with Pop TV, where maybe Pop isn't letting them do that, but and
they're moving times again soon, so that's going to hurt too.
Right, they're moving from Tuesdays to Thursdays to avoid getting crushed by SmackDown, which, okay, fine, but they need to either get a better deal with the network that will allow them to get better, a better online presence, or just get some sort of momentum. And as far as what to do creatively, I do personally believe that TNA should become the American soap opera promotion. I
was thinking that.
I do think maybe not as completely insane as this stuff with Jeff and Matt, because that's their own little thing. That's there's a history of crazy there, and to make a feud between Davey Richards and Michael Bennett as insane wouldn't work. It wouldn't make any sense. But you can do something similar and make it kind of a little bit more melodramatic, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek.
You remember the Aces of A stuff when it started dying? They started doing the funeral stuff. It was kind of like Final Deletion, but Final Deletion was just crazier. Yeah. I kind of liked it, the end of Ace and the Apes, when they were doing the backstage promos and stuff. And I think if you have one storyline every couple of months focusing on something like that, it could work. Something goofy or something backstage, just one, maybe two at the most, but you don't need a whole show. Have real wrestling and then something goofy just for side gags and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think one way or another, the days of TNA trying to be a carbon copy competitor of WWE and what they're doing need to go away. If they expect to survive at all, you're not WWE. You can't compete on that level. You cannot beat them doing the same things that they do. Lucha Underground has the Mexican telenovela style kind of covered, and their stuff almost kind of looks like an action movie. They tried something different. That works very, very well for them. I think that TNA needs to do something, and they do certain things to set themselves apart, but I think that they need to continue on with that and take that creatively in a deeper direction and make themselves we are this thing. So it's not why would I watch TNA when they're just a B-level Raw or SmackDown? It's, oh, okay, I'm watching SmackDown because it's this. I mean, NXT is a developmental promotion. People watch that more religiously than they watch the major shows because it is something different, and it gives it gives those people who like that style something to watch, and then the diehards will watch both anyways. They'll watch everything. So this will be something that people will add to their wrestling schedule if it's something that's interesting and isn't just more of the same thing that they've already seen that week.
Yeah, I always thought maybe for the past year or two, TNA should have been a place where you can bring out different stars from around the world, like Ring of Honor, New Japan. Just have them be like a showcase type show for like an hour, hour and a half, and just showcase different type of wrestlers from around the world, something like that. But then I started thinking about it. I'm not TNA. NXT is starting to do that now with the Cruiserweight Classic and all, just bringing new stars into NXT. So TNA is always been like one step behind. Like they had the X Division, they had the knockouts, and they had stuff that was, helping them be different. And then I don't know, they just decided to go head to head. And
yeah. I mean, I think at one time, a couple of months ago, almost every single major champion in every other organization had been in TNA at one point. Like, it was like Okada, Jay Lethal, Dean Ambrose was fighting for the world title. He had a tryout with them. It was like all these people who had been in TNA. Samoa Joe was the NXT champion. Like, all of these people who had been in TNA that they dropped the ball on. Are doing well in other places. So it's like they're picking the talent. They're right with the people they're signing. They're just not right with what they're doing with them. And like I said, I think if anything, maybe just go in this direction and just try and be something different, because they're sinking hard just trying to be another version of WWE.
Yep.
Which honestly, and I mean, so for all the shit that Hulk Hogan gets, and rightfully so, I really do genuinely believe, and not just because I hate the guy, because I hate the guy, but I genuinely believe that TNA signing Hulk Hogan was the worst thing that ever happened to them.
I completely agree with that, because he came in and changed everything. Yep. Like the difference, like they went from 6 sides back to the regular ring, and things just started look like, it's like they made TNA comfortable for Hogan and not trying to incorporate him into TNA.
Right, and they killed all of their original stars and their original angles for favors of rehashes of old WCW and WWF angles, old WCW and WWF workers, and that was really the beginning of the end for them, and that was really the death knell, and they have not recovered. This is something different. This is something original, and this is something that they need to continue to do if they want to be what they were back in 2006 and 2005, seen as an alternative to what WWF was doing. At the time, the WWE, wasn't, they weren't really focusing on lighter guys. They weren't really focusing on harder in-ring action. It was really much less quality as far as wrestling went, and TNA was known as the better wrestling promotion. Oh, yeah. They can't really do that right now because WWE has just locked down everybody, and everybody who isn't with them is with New Japan. So, I mean, they have some solid guys, but this is something they can do to be different, and I think that they need to do it. All right, let's go ahead and move on. UFC 200 took place this past weekend.
Wait.
He froze up. Look at this face. Look at that face.
And
that face.
Screenshot that.
So, okay. So you're back with the regular world now, Peruzzi. So what were you gonna say? Because you froze up.
Of course, I said the actual big news.
Oh no, the final deletion was way.
Oh come on.
Okay, so
we'll debate.
Okay, so Mark Hunt losing to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar winning 29-27 unanimous decision on all cards. Now, for the gentleman who saw this, Mr. Peruzzi, Kobe, you saw it as well.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. What did you guys think about the fight?
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, heading into the fight, I was really excited. I was with a good friend of mine, and we were both really excited about this fight because it was Brock Lesnar who, he looked probably the best I've seen him in a long time. He had this body that I was watching the weigh-in, and when I saw Brock come out, I actually was fangirling. It's kind of a weird image, but when he did that thing with the pecs, I was like, oh god, this is Brock Lesnar.
And the gift of Lesnar.
Yeah.
Man.
We have to include at least one reference to that. Anyways, and Hunt, he's got a jaw of steel. That third round, I was thinking Hunt was going to be out, but he just kept taking stuff and taking stuff. I mean, kudos to Lesnar for beating down that guy. I expected Hunt to dispose of Lesnar quickly, but Lesnar was absolutely fantastic. And I think this does favors to every single party involved, whether it be UFC, WWE, Lesnar. And heading
Hunt,
into
honestly.
Yeah, I mean Hunt, he took a brutal beating and he still didn't submit, get knocked out or anything. It was one of the
And made 700K in the process. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he doesn't make that much if he's not fighting Lesnar. Like, he'll make a lot. He's a great fighter, but he's not making that much.
No,
like,
high end is usually 200 to 250. So
Yeah.
I mean that's a good pay for him. Yeah, I mean, when we talked about this beforehand, I said if Brock was gonna wrestle him and Hunt couldn't plant his feet and land a shot, then Brock was gonna win, and that's what happened. It is really funny how, I mean, and we talked about this a little bit before we went on the air. You know, everybody's saying how brutal and how dominating this was, and like Brock did, it was a clear, decisive victory. Brock did an excellent job against a guy who is the number 8 ranked heavyweight in the world, who is very, very dangerous. He deserves all the credit in the world for that. But for people who are, you know, acting like this is some sort of like big giant conquering, like, I mean, I've seen dominations in mixed martial arts, and like I said before, there was a domination the night before by a 115-pound Polish woman named Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who in the final round of the fight threw 200 significant strikes to like 4 by her opponent. She is an unbelievable monster of a fighter, and I look at that and go, that's a domination. What Brock did to Mark, he didn't finish him. You know, he beat him up pretty bad, but Mark Hunt's taken a lot worse. It's still good for him. It's just I'm not as hyped about it as a lot of people are, just because I've watched mixed martial arts for 10 years, and I've seen what real domination looks like, and that ain't it. That being said, though, this is going to do wonders for Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt. Like you said, UFC was just sold today for $4 billion. It's not really our area, but you know, that's important. It was important for them. That was a good showing. It was a good event overall. It's interesting to see what's going to happen from here with Brock Lesnar's career. Is he going to continue to take fights in the UFC? It seems like that's going to be the case.
As we all nod, yes.
Yeah.
I don't see how he can't. Like, he's got the taste. He's got that little extra. You know, he wanted motivation to get back in, see how he could fight without diverticulitis. And I mean, that's the thing, was I came in expecting Lesnar to lose, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I bought into a little bit of everybody saying, "Oh, Hunt's going to knock him out."
Well,
He's a strong
he was a favorite. Hunt was a favorite on the lines. That's not. I don't think that's hype. That's just looking at it objectively and going, "This is probably what's going to happen."
That's fair, but you know, so I came into it kind of watching Brock as the underdog. And when's the last time we've ever seen Brock Lesnar as an underdog at anything?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he did this fight without having fought in 5 years.
Absolutely.
And with a short, I'm assuming his training camp was from Mania until now.
Mm-hmm.
So
a little bit before that, I
maybe
think.
probably a little before.
That's about a regular camp, though.
Is it?
Regular
But,
camp's about 3 months.
So, like, I mean, with if he plans on, you know, doing some more, he's gonna have a fight more recently behind him, and you know, he'll be able to build upon everything he's kind of relearned.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's healthier than he's ever been. So,
Oh.
I mean, you know, I think he can make a deep run, and if he knows that and he wants to, there's no reason for him to stop.
Well,
like, and
Go
think
ahead.
of all the publicity this is going to make for WWE. Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is huge news now. The Randy Orton Lesnar match is now going to be gigantic for SummerSlam. Like, that just made that a huge card. Like, SummerSlam's already kind of big,
Man,
but
I wish he had a better opponent, though. Jesus.
I think Orton coming back is fine. Like, if
Who
no,
I mean, the way Lesnar
Been
looked
close.
at UFC 200, he looked very, like you said, looked leaner. Like, if you look at Lesnar from WrestleMania and this fight, he lost a lot of weight. He slimmed down. He's faster. He played a smart fight when he fought Hunt. Like, he knew if he got too close, he was going to get knocked out, so he out-wrestled him. And I think a lot of people underestimated that, because when you're in a wrestling ring, people, you know, think it's fake and things like that, but you still have to protect yourself and take the right bumps and things like that. So coming into this fight, he knows, like, he has to fight a smarter fight than he would any other time. So I think that kind of experience helped him to make smarter decisions,
Well,
to
that and-
protect himself.
Yeah, that and he's
And-
an NCAA champion, and he's done MMA before.
Yeah, so of course he had a great wrestling background, but I think going into SummerSlam is going to make because like he's leaner now, so he's faster. We've seen like this bulkier, strong Brock, but now that he's kind of a little bit faster, and I think Randy Orton's a nice opponent because they kind of, I don't want to say match up in like height and things like that, but body size. So to see how he can do an Orton and then like working to some of the newer guys and things like that, maybe Lesnar will do that. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he keeps the weight off, because remind you, there is a 265-pound weight limit for heavyweight, so he had to cut that weight.
Yeah.
Now that he's not fighting, he doesn't have to weigh anything in WWE. He can weigh whatever he wants. I think he's normally been closer to between like 280 to 290 lately. He's still leaner overall than he was when he first got in, when he was really muscles on muscles and over 300 pounds. Those days are gone. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not excited to see Randy Orton fight anybody. Like, I'm just not.
Neither am I.
I mean, think about, like, this could have been, like, Kevin Owens would have been a much more interesting build.
Kevin Owens is a much more interesting build for us. For the casual wrestling fan.
Is the casual fan still into Randy Orton?
Yes.
I think so.
No.
Really?
Randy
No.
Orton
Yeah,
has... Randy Orton
I
is
agree
like
with
the
you.
opposite John Cena, where like people always had like some kind of way about John Cena. Randy Orton has always had some kind of following. So especially growing up over the past 10, 15 years he's been in the company, and he's been gone for almost a year now. Watch him come back at SummerSlam versus Brock Lesnar, and like they haven't had like a real main event match in a long time. So it's just
All right.
It'll be like it'll be something similar to Shane Undertaker from Mania.
All right, so I'll throw a caveat onto this. If Orton comes back and he's motivated and he's hyped up and he's ready to work and he looks and he's in good shape and he's he really wants to bust ass to do this, then okay, this could be good. But if it's the same Randy Orton who's just going to come in and do his little slink around and just think of just wait for the F5 into the RKO or whatever, then I'm not going to give a shit. Like, he's got to do something. Like, Randy Orton in the past with his Legend Killer stuff, like, he has proven that he can be an interesting character, but it's been a very long time, and he's been phoning it in for a long-ass time. And I would just, like I said, it's just Brock and Randy Orton was just like the safe and easy and boring choice. It's just like, imagine the hype. Okay, so even to the casual fan, imagine the hype if they, okay, so Brock and Kevin Owens would still be a good fight because Kevin's going to hype it really well.
Oh, Kevin, that would be an insane match.
Yes.
Kevin opposite Paul Heyman would be
So,
orgasmic.
yeah,
Oh my God.
and I'm
yeah.
super happy they didn't do this because it would have meant that I would have had to have bought tickets to 2 shows that weekend instead of just one. But imagine what would have happened if they were like, okay, Brock Lesnar, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes.
Like,
That would have been
okay,
great.
like how nuts does
I'm a Brock
everybody?
Nut.
But do you want to have that like be the first match? Don't you want to build that up? Like, I think
I don't
Brock
know if you need
Nakamura
to.
could be a WrestleMania match,
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't need to be the
Again.
only fight they have.
Again, we all
especially
think
with a
that.
brand split.
You don't think that the casual fan? I mean, here's the thing though, because
I don't think the casual
when-
WWE fan knows who
I
Nakamura
don't-
is.
Not yet.
No,
Not
okay,
yet.
I'll wait till
fine, but they will.
WrestleMania.
They will. When you introduce him quickly, the thing is that when they signed Nakamura to NXT, everybody was like, "Oh, I don't know if the U.S. audience is going to be into Nakamura or whatever." And
But the NXT audience is different. They're more of
Okay,
a
so there's-
internet-based fans.
so they're different. They are more internet savvy, so a lot of people knew who Nakamura was coming in. But that day after TakeOver Dallas, I was just sitting on Facebook going through the hashtag, and there were dozens of people who were like, I never saw this guy. I never heard of him. Here he is. This guy's incredible. Oh, my God.
But unless you've been to house shows, you haven't seen Nakamura on WWE Raw and SmackDown since Mania.
Yeah, I don't know, but still, he's the face of the network. They use him for so many different things. They've been running him on house shows. They could have him do a couple matches on TV beforehand to be like, oh, Brock Lesnar's opponent's this weird guy from Japan I've never heard of. Oh, well, we'll give him a couple warm-up matches and then let him murder the Miz or something.
The thing about
Yeah.
Shinsuke
That's the
Nakamura-
Miz. Come on now.
Wow. Shinsuke
Wow,
Nakamura.
all right, all right. It's
Ryder
on.
had a good week last week. He can get killed by Lesnar.
The thing about Shinsuke Nakamura is that he has this type of charisma that no one else in the WWE has. He could walk into a room of boring office workers. All he had to do was one, yeah, and
Yeah. The thing is that
they don't understand.
They have enough. They have a lot of reel of Nakamura in NXT now that they can use to hype it up. Even if you don't, I mean, if it was me and I'm booking it, you don't have him wrestle on TV until that day. You show clips of him on NXT. He's probably still going to have a match in Takeover Brooklyn, so he could do double duty that weekend, and you can use that to hype him. But you can just do things to show these two. You can have Brock Lesnar say himself, like, I fought this guy in 2003, and he was tough then, and that's nothing like he is now. So if you just have Brock Lesnar come out and say, okay, this is a fight, I'm gonna have to work my ass off to deal with this guy, that immediately gives some credibility. Like, there's a lot you can do. You can have Paul Heyman build him up. You can do a lot of different things that would make that fight instantly marketable, and then you have that entrance at the Barclays Center, and this guy shows up. I've never been the type of guy who thinks that you need to explain every single little thing to the audience. I think even if, first of all, it's going to be the Barclays Center, all those people are going to be in NXT the night before anyways. They're all going to know who he is, so you're going to get the right live reaction. But when that guy shows up and just does what he does, I don't think you need to say anything else. Like, I think you can just do that and have the audience go, what the fuck was that? I think you can do that, and you don't necessarily need to build it up, win or lose. Even if Brock beats him, you don't have to have Nakamura go over. You can have Brock win and just Brock barely escape, and then that just gives him instant credibility, and you're off to the races.
Keen Sasha into an F5 to end it.
Yeah, you can do so many different things with those.
I just want to save that match for WrestleMania, because you think about it, with the brand split, they're already blowing off their load with the triple threat with the Shield, AJ Cena, and I think the only real main event left in this sense is Nakamura Lesnar. Unless you want, if it was a surprise, like, we're gonna have Lesnar at SummerSlam, we don't know his opponent is till that day, then it was Nakamura, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
In any case, go ahead.
I agree with that. If you build it as who's the opponent going to be, that's going to draw people in. And I don't doubt for a second that wouldn't be an amazing match, because I hope we see it at some point. It's going to be sick. I don't doubt that it's going to turn a lot of people who don't know Nakamura onto him, and that whatever crowd, I'm sure they'll do it after the day after a takeover event, and you'll get the live crowd reaction you want. But SummerSlam isn't about the after feeling of it. It's the build to and the buys for the event.
But also you have to consider, again, this is one of those things where it's SummerSlam. People are going to get it.
It's not as big as WrestleMania.
Is Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton really going to sell that many tickets that Brock Lesnar and Nakamura wouldn't have?
More than Lesnar and Nakamura, I think.
But a substantial amount more. Like, we're talking
enough to be noticed.
In tens of thousands.
Here's something
tens of thousands of people going to look at that card and go, "Oh, I wasn't going to get this, but Brock and Randy Orton, I'll get it." That wouldn't have.
I think it's more for the return of Orton than Brock itself, because we've seen Brock a lot on TV lately. We haven't seen Orton at all for almost.
We haven't
years,
seen Brock since WrestleMania.
Well, we've seen him a lot on TV because WWE has been co-hyping the UFC 200 event.
Yeah, he's on the cover of 2K17 now, all that stuff. And then you have Orton coming in. So I think, Nakamura would be a better opponent, but for a return hype, something to get you looking forward to SummerSlam, returning Randy Orton, I think that's the way to go.
Like I said, if he shows up, I'm not one of those ones who's gonna discount anything until it happens. This could be awesome.
But you're right; it does have to be a momotivated Orton.
But Orton needs to be willing to bust ass and really be into this. If it's just the same Randy Orton we've been seeing since 2012, 2013 against Brock Lesnar, who cares?
I think a year off will help with that. He's had a year away to not be doing the grind. Maybe he's refreshed. He's ready to go. He's ready to put forth his full effort again for a few more years as his final run, and this is a great way to start it off with a good match against Lesnar. I don't
know. And just like I said, lately it's just all the Randy Orton matches. It's just who can fall onto their stomach in the most creative way. That's a Randy Orton match now. It's Randy Orton just stands there and waits for you to fall onto your face, and everybody's like, "Woo, Randy Orton!" No, Seth Rollins was the one that jumped 10 feet in the air off his fucking back. Randy Orton didn't do anything.
Swanton bomb out of a tree into an RKO.
Yeah, exactly.
But
onto a dilapidated boat.
Yeah.
I think Randy and John Cena are in a great position right now, because now that the past is in the past, we're going to this new era, we can finally start to see these quote-unquote dream matches. 'Cause I still want to see, Orton Nakamura, Orton Styles, things like that. So hopefully with Cena and Orton, they'll go on and we get them like Orton Owens. I want to see that.
Sure, like I
Lesnar
said,
Styles.
those could all be good things with Orton. Orton does have a number of interesting matches now that he's never faced with these people. Orton, Finn Balor, like there's a lot of interesting matches that could happen here, but Orton's got to be interesting.
Yeah, he does. Like
He has to be.
Agree with that 100%.
That like he can do it. It's just a matter of will he, and I don't know if he will.
I hope he does.
I'm skeptical.
So you want to talk about returns? There's one return, I believe, this weekend. I'm not certain. At the Madison Square Garden show, I believe Neville's coming back to face Chris Jericho. It's like we've been talking so much about the returns of Randy Orton and John Cena and all these big returns, and then just kind of in there is this guy we've been completely missing out on, Neville. Think about the matches he could have.
Oh yeah. Neville and AJ Styles is going to be incredible.
And not to
that's gonna be
mention
great.
Jesus Christ.
how Neville deals with the Cruiserweight Classic guys. I mean, Neville versus Sabre, Neville versus Ibushi, Neville versus Akira Tozawa is another big one that you could do. Just all this stuff, Neville could fit his way back into it. Because
And don't forget
Neville's-
about the biggest return of the week. The Brian Kendrick is back. So
Yes,
the Brian Kendrick is back. So I'm
Alright,
happy
well,
about that one.
I guess this is a good time to segue into the Cruiserweight Classic bracket that has been put up by WWE. They
I'm gonna
did
look it up really quickly so I can like.
Okay.
sorta-
They did a great bracketology special on the network after the last episode of NXT. This Wednesday may be, in terms of separate like companies or separate brands, maybe the best night of wrestling in a decade, maybe ever. You have NXT, which is going to have Balor and Nakamura. You have the Cruiserweight Classic starting. You have Night 2 of Ultima Lucha Dos, all taking place within the span of 2 hours. Like, this is an incredible night of wrestling that's going to be this Wednesday the 13th. And the Cruiserweight Classic stands to be one of the most interesting things that's happened in a really long time. So taking a look at the bracket here, we have a lot of these. It's like who's going to go on in this first round. So we have for the first round Kenneth Johnson versus Akira Tozawa. Tozawa is almost certainly going on. Jack Gallagher versus Fabian Eichner. Gallagher's probably going on. Tajiri versus Damian Slater. I imagine Tajiri's going on. And I'm sure that they're going to throw one or two upsets in here, but you can look at most of these and go, oh, these guys, the favorites, you know who the favorite's going to be. Gran Metalik, who used to be Mascara Dorada in CMLL and New Japan, taking on Alejandro Saez. Harv Sira taking on Drew Gulak. Zack Sabre Jr. taking on poor Tyson Dukes. Noam Dar taking on Gurv Shira. Arya Davari, who I thought originally was like Sean Davari.
Yeah.
I did too. I was like, oh, he's back.
I just saw Davari. I'm like, what? Davari's back?
Like they just signed Delavar. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking on Ho Ho Loon. That one could go either way. That one might be interesting. These are all going to be fun to watch. It's just a matter of who's going to go on. Raul Mendoza and Brian Kendrick. Anthony Bennett taking on Tony Nese. Kota Ibushi taking on poor Sean Maluda.
But he's related to Roman Reigns.
I really wanted to see what this Sean guy can do, but he's about to get first round. Oh man, that's sad.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sean Maluda, watch him in a couple of years win the WWE Championship, though, because he is related to Roman Reigns and
He
the
looks
Usos.
like little cousin, don't he?
Yeah, no, literally, he actually is related to them. They during the opening ceremony, I believe they talked about that. They're probably going to tout him as the Rock's next cousin.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to body slam Nia Jax in the Big Show at the
the
same
Rock's
time.
cousin.
Yeah, it's like, seriously, think about it. Like, they're probably going to make some sort of Samoan alliance and have Nia Jax in there, and they're all going to body slam Big Show with one hand because, yay.
All right. So yeah. But in the meantime, he's getting stomped by Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That's going to be a good match, though.
Samoan Alliance.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a
Samoan
good match.
Dynasty.
We have Cedric Alexander taking on Clement Patois. who I think I'm saying his name right. TJ Perkins taking on DeMac. TJ will probably go on there. TJ's got a lot of experience. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, they're not
They're
winning.
fighting each other?
Yes, that is a
told you
first
missed
round
that.
match. First round
Johnny
match.
wrestling over.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to see Ciampa win. I saw a match between Ciampa and Zack Sabre Jr. I don't remember where it was, but I found it, and it was, I swear, such an amazing match. It's like Johnny Gargano's the guy that the fans at NXT hype, but I like Tommaso Ciampa better.
He's
If you
really
saw
good.
his match with Samoa Joe on NXT,
Oh God, that match was so good.
I mean, I go to a boarding school, and I was watching that match, and my roommate, he looked over, and he was like, "What the fuck are you watching?" Because, you know,
fucking murder.
all you could
I'm
really
watching two
hear-
guys trying to murder each other.
No, and then he actually sat down next to me, and we were just in awe. We were watching that chop sequence where it was like they were just chopping the crap out of each other. If Ciampa wins, he'll go on probably to face TJ Perkins, and then based off of how I see this thing going, Lindsay Dorado or Rich Swann.
Probably
and
Rich
that's just-
Swann, I think. Yeah, I think there's a bigger upside to Tommaso as a singles wrestler myself. He's got a little bit more size to him, and he just works that stiff style really. That's going to fit in with a lot of guys in NXT really well, and already has. So I would pick Tommaso over Johnny, but that's probably going to be the highlight match of the first round. It's probably going to be the match that's going to be the best overall.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali taking Lince Dorado, and then Rich Swann and Jason Lee rounding that out. The way this is set up, there's going to be some really interesting matches. Just looking at Kota Ibushi probably going to be taking on Cedric Alexander in the second round, and then we could see Kota Ibushi versus Brian Kendrick, which is a match I didn't think we were ever going to see. There is a lot of interesting. We could be seeing Tajiri versus Akira Tozawa. There's a lot of really good matches, and this thing was laid out really well. It does seem like Sabre has a pretty clean run, at least until...
He's my favorite to win it all.
Yeah, at least until the semis. But Noam Dar is really good too. It wouldn't. I see those two facing off, and they're both UK
definitely.
wrestlers, so I can see that being probably the quarterfinal match for their section of the bracket. As far as finals go, Ibushi and Sabre are on different sides of the bracket.
That's what it's gonna be. Just get ready for it. That's what I'm hyped for.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like that's just too obvious of a choice. And I'm almost going to be a little bit disappointed if that's what it ends up being, just because I'd like to see something surprising come out of this.
Well, I think it will. Like, I think with these two, more people probably think, in my opinion, think Sabre's gonna win. But I think Ibushi might win that match. I think Ibushi might win it all if it does come down to that.
I think you could too. I don't know, because it's also gonna be interesting to see who they have signed, who they're gonna sign to full-time deals after this, or who they already have locked down. Yeah, I mean, Tajiri has a full-time deal now, which I had read, which is great for him and really interesting, and I could see using him in the training center a lot, especially if they're planning on signing any more Japanese wrestlers. Using him as another kind of trainer, and then help out with assimilating them in. Like I said, if this is me, I keep all of these guys, and just this is another show.
Yeah, and
like
has to be.
this could be an annual thing from the interview with Triple H. And if this is the type of guys they can get at year one, imagine who they could have next year. They could have Ricochet, who just recently his contract was done with Lucha Underground. They could bring back in Jushin Thunder Liger to have a huge legend presence. And, of course, those two names segues into...
the battle? We going to the battle?
Yup.
All right.
Might as well just have fun with that one. I didn't even mean to do that segue. but
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Well, before we move to the Battle of Los Angeles, I genuinely believe, because how big is NXT's roster? NXT's roster is what, 30, 40 people, maybe?
Probably bigger than that with the new signees and things
But
like that.
ones that hit regular TV that are like on
probably like
TV
30.
now. I mean, just sign every one of these people.
Yes.
Move over Neville. Move over Kalisto. Put Finn here, and this is a show. Like, just do these 32 guys in storylines and tag teams fighting every week, and you have something amazing here. And I personally believe that they should, continue on with this beyond just the tournament, make it its own division. Like I said, make it its own brand, make it its own show.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
And then you could do so many awesome things with this. I'm so excited for this, and we're going to be talking about the Cruiserweight Classic a lot more as it goes on, and it starts this Wednesday. But as Kobe mentioned, moving on, the Battle of Los Angeles Pro Wrestling Guerrillas annual tournament. The field is set. All the participants have been named. Let's go ahead and go over the list here. The first participant announced was Cody Rhodes.
Nice.
You have Kamai Tachi, who is a New Japan Young Lion. Jeff Cobb, a.k.a. Matanza Cueto. Mark Haskins. Dalton Castle. Pete Dunne. Sami Callihan. Tommy End. Trevor Lee. Adam Cole. Johnny Mundo, Jack Gallagher doing double duty here for the Cruiserweight Classic and the Battle of Los Angeles. Chris Hero, Mark Andrews, Ricochet, Matthew Riddle, Martin Skrull, Matt Sydal, Kyle O'Reilly, Phoenix, Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, Pentagon Jr., and Jushin Thunder Liger.
Jesus, when does this start?
The Battle of Los Angeles is, let me see.
September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Oh, the day before my birthday. Hey.
Yeah, forget about tickets, though. It is long gone.
Oh,
So
I'll
there's
watch
two
it
people
online.
doing double duty.
What's that?
There's 2 people doing double duty. Saber and
Sabre.
Gallagher.
Yep, Zack Sabre and Gallagher, yes. Yeah, they're both doing double duty from the Cruiserweight Classic. Although, I mean, Cruiserweight Classic is done. Like, they were done 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can call it double duty. Like, they're done with it.
There's still more tapings though.
Is there? How many?
They did like the
Oh,
No,
first.
they did the
okay.
first. They did the first.
Oh,
first
okay.
2.
I thought that they were all done with it. Okay.
No, they had tapings scheduled, but wow, what a roster!
Yeah, this is I mean, the Battle of Los Angeles is always huge.
But I
and
mean,
it's always a big
this
deal.
is their biggest one yet. I mean, every single name on here got me really excited. I mean, one thing I wanted to point out was Kamai Tachi. He's a name that immediately stands out to me because not only is he a young lion in New Japan, he had that brilliant feud with what was it, like Dragon Lee? or
Dragon
something?
Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, Kamai Tachi and Dragon Lee, that's one thing I wanted to point out because it seems as though that name is getting overlooked some amidst all these amazing talents. And you have the big 3 in British wrestling, Skrull, Ospreay, and Sabre. You have Lucha Underground represented. You have Sydal and Ricochet. You have Jushin Thunder Liger. Like, what is this?
Yeah, this is
a great card.
Yeah, this is insane. It's going to be a three-day show taking place over the weekend of September 2nd, and this is absolutely crazy. And the Battle of Los Angeles, it's always been one of those tournaments to me where I really don't care who wins it. Like it just doesn't matter to me at all. I'm just I like seeing the matches that come out of it more than actually focusing on the participants. But there are so many names in here. It is impossible to pick a favorite for who's going to win this. I mean, Chris Hero is in the finals, so it seems like every other year. But there are just 1,000 people in here who like almost anybody on this list could take this. And I am so interested to see what independent wrestler Cody Rhodes is going to look like because we've literally never seen that before. We have never ever seen Cody Rhodes as just independent wrestler guy where I'm not limited by anything. I can do whatever the fuck I want. We've never seen that from Cody Rhodes, and I am so interested to see. And he's also going to be facing Chris Hero the Friday before SummerSlam in New York City, which for Evolve, I believe. Which I can't imagine tickets are still available, but if they are, I may try and get into that. I'm not sure when I'm going to be in New York for Takeover. I don't know if I'm getting in Friday or Saturday or not. So there's just so much here, and like I said, everybody bitches. Everybody says, "Oh, Attitude Era was great and Ruthless was great." No, this is the best time to be a wrestling fan. Period. Ever. Like bar none. Full stop.
I mean, when a name like Dalton Castle is seen as sort of one of the lesser contenders for this, that's saying something. I mean, I know when I look at this list and I know what the Battle of Los Angeles has done for getting guys over. This could be Dalton Castle's time. I mean, in Ring of Honor, amidst a lot of great stuff going on in the partnership with Japan, Jay Lethal's been on top of everything. but I want to see more Dalton Castle. And he and the boys have the potential to be something absolutely entertaining. I mean, Castle versus Pentagon Jr. is something that would probably be it would be a fun match to watch. I don't know why that came into my head as a fun match, but think about it. The boys against Cero Miedo. It would be just...
Anybody. I mean, anybody versus... You could throw a dart at a list of these people and then throw a second dart, and that's going to be an awesome match. Like, everybody here. This is going to be, something really, really special. So...
Yeah.
And that will be taking place just, I think, probably after the Cruiserweight Classic's going to be wrapping up. There's just so much going on. Ultima Lucha Dos taking place this month. I'm interested to see what Lucha Underground is going to do, if they're going to if there's going to be any sort of break between Season 2 and Season 3, or if they're going to just go right into it, because Season 3 is done. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. So... There is a lot of stuff going on here. And moving along, Sean mentioned the proposed suggestions for new WWE Network shows. I didn't get that link, so why don't you talk about that, Sean?
Oh, yeah, there's like 21 proposed shows for the WWE Network, some including like...
do you have like the full list of 21? Because we could go through each one.
I'm loading that now.
Okay.
Oh, I do. We want to start from the top.
Let's go through each one and think like, would you watch this? Is this a good idea?
All right, the first one is WWE goes viral. The best viral videos the internet has to offer displayed through. So this is kind of like ridiculousness.
Okay, right. So it's like one of those
Tosh.0 things like that. Then we have...
All right, no, let's actually judge each one of these and think like, what do we watch them or should we keep them? This not super interested in, because it sounds like it's just going to kind of be like Edge and Christian are going to end up hosting it, and it's just going to be I don't care.
That's going to be great.
It doesn't sound super interesting unless they get the right person hosting it. If they get
Tyler
the right person
Breeze.
hosting it.
Yeah, I'd watch that. Okay.
I was thinking Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that could be really funny too. Yeah, okay, this could.
Like, if they get the right person hosting it, I will watch it.
I can see them
Absolutely
doing like Goldust and R-Truth, like Golden Truth doing this one.
The Golden Truth.
Yeah, they could do that. I could. Okay, so yeah, right host, I could see this, but the premise itself,
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically just what like a television version of the R Square Circle Reddit, basically. Okay, move on. Let's talk about the next one. What's the next one?
Okay, the next one is WWE promo battles. Superstars pitted against each other in head-to-head improv wars. So.
This could make certain people look really bad, especially because there are certain guys who are just used to having their stuff scripted. They haven't had to improv a lot, so I don't know. Like, I could see something happening where like a high-level, like mid-card guy can't think of anything, and then just like, gets blown away by...
Like, you remember that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be something like that.
I don't know. But if it's just like straight like promo rap battles, basically, like, I don't know.
I feel like the New Day and Cesaro would win.
Ryder's going to shake it all down.
There was a video recently I saw of Cesaro he actually had personality and hair. It was during, I believe, a Chikara show where he tripped over the ring steps, and then he proceeded to uppercut them.
Yeah, Cesaro is a funny guy. Like I said, it's...
Cesaro and the New Day, I think that those are going to be guys that you would get over in this, but besides that, if it will really put... I want to see Roman Reigns on that, since Roman Reigns Reigns has a good wit, actually. Roman Reigns, he could be funny. He's not that bad of... He's not a good guy.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, still...
and that's true. You might have you might have an interesting point where Roman might be one of those guys who, when he's not scripted, does better. Like, because I think that's Roman's problem, is that having to read off the scripted promos, that's what gives him trouble. But if he was to, they're like, okay, just do your own thing, then yeah, he might get over better. You're right.
Right. Next one, I assume, or anything more to say?
Actually, before we continue on with this list, does anybody have any thoughts on the Roman Reigns Road to Redemption thing?
No.
God,
Ew.
no.
It's Roman
Disgusting.
Reigns. It doesn't matter what we say. Like, Roman Reigns, like, if I can quickly go on a little tangent, Roman Reigns
Please
got
do.
Batista. You remember like a couple of years ago when Batista won the Royal Rumble, but everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win,
Right.
and it just ruined him? The same thing happened to Roman Reigns, to make it short and sweet. Like, no matter what they do from this point forward, they failed Roman Reigns. They have to, I say just let him be, he doesn't have to be a good guy, bad guy, all that stuff. He just needs to be himself. He just needs to go out there, whoop ass, and leave.
Yeah. So, you
Give
know,
him Sheamus.
everybody is
Give him
really cranky about this thing. Again, I'm not one of those people who is going to discount anything before I see it. This could be good if it goes a couple ways. Number one, if it goes the route of really looking at him and his drug policy violation from a human lens and looking at it in an actual human light and showing him as a flawed person with depth. That could be something that could help him out in the end. Route number two, they just use this to make him look as like the biggest asshole they possibly can and use this as a catalyst for a heel turn. That could go really well as well. But if they try and do just what they did with the Seth Rollins thing with Roman Reigns and make him look sympathetic in the way of like that he kind of got screwed over by all this and that this all wasn't just blatantly his fault and he's not the one that's fucking up, it's just that we don't understand it, then no, then that's going to fall on his face. That's
I think
probably
he needs
going
to
to be what
start
they do.
blaming the fans. Like,
Yes.
you guys are the reason why
Yes.
I'm stressed out. I had to go do a little pot or whatever.
Yes.
It's all, that
That could be
like
great.
Tetsuya Naito. I want to see Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Nia Jax form
Yes.
Los Ingobernables de America. We could see
Wouldn't that
something.
be like Day American Samoa then at that point?
Yes, I want
This
that so
Samoa-
bad.
I mean, think about it. Just Roman Reigns comes back, different theme music, different attire. He has the Usos and Nia Jax's bodyguard.
You really want all the Samoans together in one
Yes.
night, don't you?
Yes,
Like,
and
you're
bring in
really
little
pushing
Samoa down
hard.
from
Nation of
Cruiserweight.
Domination V2. And I can't.
We're
Really
gonna bring in Samoa Joe. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, if you bring in Joe, bring them all in.
resurrect Yokozuna.
Mark, we're signing Mark Hunt.
Let's bring them all in.
Everyone from Samoa, come on over. We're gonna be a stable. I
And
don't know.
mean, this is the type of thing where I think
like,
a la
I
Tetsuya
think that was
Naito.
really great. Like, the club versus the Roman Empire, whatever you want to call it. I love that stuff. It was really good. Like, and if you think about the Usos, I thought this was funny. As soon as you break the Usos away from Roman Reigns, they get cheered again.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
Good
funny.
point.
But I like that more aggressive side to the Usos. Nia Jax already has it. Roman Reigns has it. Just bring them all together and let's let them beat up people.
Tetsuya Naito should be inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, and that is go that route of the, well, I tried to be what you guys wanted me to be for so long, now fuck you. Not like the John Cena or even the Roman Reigns now, where it's like, I don't care if you cheer me, boo me. Like, no, I hate you people, and I don't want anything to do with you, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to piss you off.
Maybe when Roman comes out at Battleground, have a plant in the front row completely ogling him, and then Roman just takes the guy, slams him onto the mat.
Oh boy. I don't know if we want to do any.
Or at least
any-
just
any
mush
fake-
him like the guy's like heckling him when he's out on the outside and just Roman just mushes him one good time.
That would, or maybe something a la Super Dragon.
No. Why do we go back to Super Dragon every week with you?
Okay, my
damn
three
it,
things
Kobe.
are Matt Hardy, Tetsuya Naito, and Super Dragon.
Can Roman Reigns take out Brock Lesnar guy? Because I think that'd be best for business.
Roman
No.
Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
The
takes
only
out
thing that'll turn him
Izzy.
face.
Izzy, Bailey superfan. If Roman takes her out,
Oh,
talk about
Jackson,
getting.
I'm like, why are you wearing this?
I want Roman Reigns to beat up an 8-year-old girl now. Jesus Christ, what's
did
wrong
it.
with you?
Look,
He
nothing's
could
worse
come
about
down-
this sneaky baby thing. So
he could come down on a riding lawnmower with a little drone army and a little gray streak through his hair. Could be great.
Broken
I
Roman.
thought about Psychosis. Yeah, yeah.
Hashtag Broken Roman.
Brother Dino.
All right,
He's
all
not a
right.
good guy. He's not a bad guy, but he knows a guy.
All right. Let's go ahead and go on with the network shows. Well, what
Okay.
else we got here?
God.
The next
Oh,
one
boy.
is WWE All Access. Dive into the training and personal preparation WWE superstars undergo leading into their big main event matches.
Oh, that could be great.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
like
That's
WWE
stuff that
24/7, something like
yeah,
that.
I think that's what like they should have had on the network all along. That could be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely would watch that.
Like, weren't they doing that stuff? Isn't that like how we learned about Adam Rose and his stuff like
Yeah,
that?
that was the ESPN. The
That
E60
was
thing.
ESPN. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ESPN
they should
did
just
that.
do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they want to do that with main event guys going in, great. But yeah, I'd love to see that for like lower end guys too, to see, and like they did that with Breaking Ground and stuff. Like
I love Breaking Ground.
yeah,
Breaking Ground was great.
Maybe
I
do a
love that
special
stuff.
with the social outcasts and just see those three guys having a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
Heath Slater, Bo Dallas.
I mean, I would like I said. I mean, like I love the behind the curtain stuff in general, but I think like showing how fucking hard this is.
Yeah.
I think is a
It
great thing.
legitimizes the industry.
Absolutely.
It really would.
All right, next.
The roast of John Cena. Do I need to go any further than that?
Sure. This could be interesting. Although I think if they're gonna do it, they need to bring in like legitimate comedians, like actual roast Friars
like,
Club comedians.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, or like Jeffrey Ross. Like they need
Yeah.
to bring in people who have experience roasting rather than
Justin
just
Bieber.
rather than just having like WWE guys do it, because I think it's going to come across as kind of hokey and lame. But it could be an interesting,
Well, then
one-end
again,
thing.
one thing I suggested before we went on the air was somehow bringing in Wade Barrett, going back
Yeah.
to Bad News Barrett for just one thing, and Barrett can completely roast him on the Nexus angle. You literally buried me under a pile of steel chairs.
Oh, that was bad. I remember that.
Yeah, like I said, that could be interesting. I'd watch it if they
Maybe
did
the
it.
Undertaker.
I don't know.
No,
Undertaker
roast
doesn't
the
break kayfabe
Undertaker. Rost Taker.
off. Taker would never agree
Roast
to
Kane and watch him roast everybody back. Literally.
it. Taker would never agree to it. Mick Foley would be a good one.
Oh, Mick Foley.
Roasting Mick Foley would be a good one. The
JBL.
Shawn Michaels one could get a little rough.
What about Paul Heyman?
Yeah, that could be
Uh-oh.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot
King.
of good fodder for ECW from that.
Uh,
There's a number. I mean, like
Michael
Vince,
Cole.
Mike.
Oh, yeah, Michael Cole.
Vince McMahon would be another good one.
Brian
Kevin Owens
Saxton.
hosts.
Yeah.
Ball game.
Michael P.
That-
JBL would be another good one. Michael P.S. Hayes would be an
Yeah.
interesting one. Like even if you pull out some like Hall of Famers and
Or Ric
have
Flair.
because that was kind of the
Oh, Flair.
yes, Ric Flair would be a good one. So yeah, I could sure. Let's go with it. All right, next one.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
The next one is Tap Out Fitness. Train alongside WWE superstars in various types of workout, i.e. yoga, CrossFit, Pilates, and TRX.
So this is like an exercise show hosted
Yeah.
by
Various
I like that.
superstars.
I like that on YouTube, not on the network.
I agree.
Yeah.
Or like as a DVD series or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Like,
Two-
work out with the WWE stars.
Yeah. I mean, they did that like not that long ago with like Triple H and Stephanie or something. They
I
did,
wants to
like,
work out
things-
with Triple H. To say, have you seen their workouts? I want to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
Tyler Breeze or Santino Marella.
I love how you think Tyler Breeze doesn't like put on some sort of murderous workout routine that would
He
kill you
probably
if you
does, but
tried
it's
to
not
do
as
it for
bad
10
as Triple
minutes.
H.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, any of those guys, the shape that they're in.
I want to see what Scott Steiner does.
No, I don't.
I don't want to see anything.
I don't want to see that.
Wait, no. Scott Steiner goes into room, gets steroids.
Oh, he lifts a
No, I know,
sick-
Scott Steiner,
sick amount of
he's-
weights too, but
I'm the genetic freak.
I started
Hey,
watching
those
a
could be
compilation
fun,
of
like-
the Steiner screwdrivers the other day.
oh
Man,
it's-
those got worse over time. It got scary.
yeah,
That's Scott Steiner for you.
that move has never been pretty.
Oh yeah, my fourth thing, Scott Steiner. I
Oh,
always
it's
bring
pretty
up
for people.
Steiner.
Jesus. All right, next workout. We're kind of 50.
Speaking of Goldberg, Goldberg's Garage.
no,
Join
don't care.
former World Heavyweight Champion Goldberg. What?
I said I don't care, but you can go ahead.
Oh,
Keep going.
yeah, just for him working on cars and things like that. Doesn't he already have a show like that?
Maybe, but they probably want to get it on the WWE Network.
I think it's
or
on
whatever.
like some cable channel somewhere.
Yeah, I think he has a show.
I never liked Goldberg anyways, and I don't care about cars, so this ain't in my wheelhouse.
So I don't
Fixing
think
cars.
No.
Who's next?
the next one was Talking SummerSlam, so I think it's like a late night post conversation after SummerSlam, things like that.
So this is like the Talking Dead, probably.
Yeah.
Or which is just basically a post game show at this point. Which I think that they like. I miss when they did the post game shows. Like
But this is a more like down to earth like.
This one would be sort of like Jimmy Fallon for wrestling.
yeah, I think it's a good idea too because it's probably easier to produce than having it like live at the arena. You can beam it back to the studio in Stanford or where the fuck they do their regular stuff. Yeah, like I said, I'm all for discussion talking. I'd be interested to see,
especially if it's like Talking Dead, like you can have like a celebrity on there every now and then.
I'd be interested to see who they'd have host it though.
Coach.
Yeah.
They should totally get Coach to host it.
Okay.
Since, I mean,
That could work.
Coach, he showed some personality during his time with WWE, and he brings a sense of legitimacy to it, which is something that obviously
True.
you'd want to bring to the product.
Yeah. I could see that. Or get someone else that's kind of a little outside, like someone that's like they had like Chris Hardwick, it's like some sort of like celebrity that isn't like a huge name, but people would know.
Like Adam Lee.
Or has like I'm trying to think of like a good internet like wrestling presence that they could do to get
Sam
it.
Roberts.
Dixie Carter, I'm telling y'all,
Jim
give it a
Cornette.
few more months. Dixie
Jim
Carter
Cornette,
will be there.
Like Adam Blampied or something like that to do it.
Oh yeah,
like,
that'll be fun.
do something like that. That could be interesting.
No,
Okay.
King Ross. If you're gonna do
Hater.
War
Oh,
Culture, do
Jesus.
King.
All right. Yeah. I'm down with that though. Let's,
Oh, and he could do a whole John O'Clock segment.
next.
The next one is WWE Game Night, so it's pretty much what they already do on the network or
Right.
the YouTube channel now. With who was it that does that one? He
Uh,
said-
This time it's
he's
actual
later.
celebrities, athletes, and musical performers. So it's like against celebrities.
Ugh.
I'm more interested in seeing like just the wrestlers do it amongst themselves because I think, like I said, just videotaping the silly shit they do backstage is interesting to me. You bring other people into the mix, and I lose interest a little bit, but I could be okay with this.
Like there was one segment on Total Divas a couple of years ago that I absolutely loved with Paige just slapping Biggie's.
Oh, I
man
saw that. It was like an
boobs.
opening segment. She did
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I said, I love
like
seeing
that.
dumb stuff. Yeah. So I'm okay with this, but I would rather they make it their own people and less celebrity stuff. I don't want to see Flo Rida playing fucking ladder ball.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I want to see Little Nate get a pie in the face. I don't know why, but I feel like that would be funny.
Okay.
Pie eating contest featuring Little Nate and Mike Chioda.
All right. All right. Next. Moving on. Next program.
Kobe, you want to take the next few?
Okay, the next one is probably the most soap opera of them all, The Wives of Flair.
No.
Hey!
No. Fuck
I agree.
no.
It's
I agree.
serious.
Let's
I got
just
this
like
here, too.
skip that one because
Next.
it's literally
What?
just
That'd be great. What?
Do
Wait,
you
no, and-
do you watch Total Divas though? Either of you like if
I
that's,
watched some
On
of
and
it.
off.
if you like that, then okay, you'd probably be into
No, but-
this.
I watch
No,
Love
there
and
needs
Hip
to
Hop,
be an-
though, so
no,
I'm
there
ready
needs
for
to be a
this.
whole episode. This is sort of like a documentary in the past detailing his personal life, and of course have an entire episode devoted to the bear from Camp WWE.
So this is this so will this be like a documentary thing or is this,
This
like
is-
a drama?
no, not like
they're-
a drama. This is more
Multi-part
documentary.
documentary series.
Oh,
is what
okay.
it is.
Nah, not interested.
Yeah, let's just keep
Don't
going.
care.
The
It
next,
just got
That's not
Flair
funny
off the
anymore. I thought it
network.
was gonna be like
the
every
next
week.
one is
Big
about his
different-
revisionist.
Hang on. What were you gonna say, Dan?
We just got Flair off the network. We don't need to keep him there.
Yeah.
Bring him
yeah.
back.
Next.
Now the next one is History of WWE, a 10-part documentary series detailing the entire history of WWE, also known as Revisionist History 101.
True. I mean, then they kind of like did this with the Monday Night War, kind of. But I mean, yes, it is revisionist history, but WWE is really good at these documentary series. We're not gonna get the full story of all the bad shit that went down. Like, how are they gonna cover like the '92 steroid scandal?
And 95, how are they going to cover up Diesel being bad and fake Diesel and Razor?
Oh, I don't think they would cover that up. I think that that stuff they would talk about implicitly, I think. But so stuff that they would have to really work their ass off to dance around, the steroid scandal, the Pat Patterson thing, Which I mean, they may not. That's kind of like not
Sable?
that big enough. Yeah, those maybe fly under the radar that they don't even really like register as a big thing. Owen's death, the Benoit incident. There's a lot of stuff there that's like, I don't know, but it could still. I'd still watch it. I'd be interested in it, even if it is going to be revisionist and full of holes, and isn't going to probably paint WWE as being as close to being killed by WCW as they actually were. It could still be fun to watch.
Yeah. All right.
Can I read the next one?
Oh, of course, Dan.
Does everybody have this but me?
Sorry, Paul.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
This
go on.
next one, and the one I vote for
I'm linking it on Twitter
most
now.
overwhelmingly, is called Ms. and Mrs.
Oh,
This
no.
reality series.
No,
follows
no,
WWE's
no, no,
reality
no.
star, The
Thumbs
Miz,
down.
and his
Thumbs
wife,
down.
WWE superstar Maurice, during their daily lives, both in and outside of the ring.
And his wife living.
I am all for this one.
And his
Yes.
wife living
All for
cardboard
this.
cutout
What?
Maurice. No, fuck no. I don't care about
Frick,
you.
yes.
I don't care about your stupid dog. I don't
this.
know.
The show will be
His
awesome.
stunt dog double.
Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Mazanin.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Come on now.
No, I don't. Here's the thing: is that with any of these,
It's a great name too.
with any of these, with Total Divas, with like the one they're doing on Mick Foley, like these could actually be kind of interesting if they weren't like pre-produced and scripted and just bullshit. Which any of these shows are going to end up being. Like I said, I had always said all along, like Total Divas, if this was just a show about women trying to be women's wrestlers, it could be an awesome show and I'd watch it every week. But it's not. It's about like silly bullshit, and then this is just going to be the same thing. I know you're all into the Miz, and there will probably be some interesting stuff. Maurice does just nothing for me ever since she's been back. She's just...
She's
eye candy.
slowly
She's
getting
there for
better.
a reason.
Is she? I mean,
She
to be
reacted
fair,
on Raw.
I know she had an
You see
emotion.
that ankle injury swerve? Oh, come on now.
No,
A+.
that was
should have been
terrible.
great, and it was terrible.
That was terrible.
Oh, dag nabbit. That was so close to being like a very decent angle, and just she like laughed and did a thing and then fell weird, and it just.
I mean, that's the thing. Is to her credit, she fell so weird and awkwardly. It made me think that like nobody could have done that on purpose. So. Did she really hurt herself for like
So
a split
bad it was
second?
almost good?
To be fair, yes, because it's like nobody fucks up that
The
badly
final
on
deletion
purpose.
of her angle.
Yeah, so, no, nothing. I do not want to see this. I'm not interested.
Okay.
Moving
I'm
on.
most interested. I have enough
The next-
interest for both of us.
The next one's more down my alley. I feel like if I had been maybe 3 years younger, I could have been on this WWE Kids, the first official show, WWE show for kids by kids. Each episode features a variety of segments, including kids interviewing their favorite WWE superstars, kids playing games against superstars, such as Pie Face, and exclusive in-ring matches where kids call the action.
So
This could be the best thing they ever do. If this is like kids say the darndest things and it's just real, oh my god.
So
this
no,
could
you actually, if you look around on the internet, there's actually a lost pilot for NXT Kids, which they actually did this show.
Yeah, that's something that...
Yeah, so they actually did this, and they did this thing where they had like kids doing commentary with Corey Graves, which was really interesting.
I'm gonna go watch that.
And then
after this.
then they had like a couple, like they had like Bailey versus Billy Kay and like Kalisto versus, like they had a couple NXT matches that they didn't show. It actually was really good, and if I was a kid back then, I would be super into this. It's funny that we mentioned her earlier, but I remember hearing that Izzy is actually going to be one of the people who's going to be like one of the hosts for this.
Yes.
So-
I'm an Izzy Mark, and with this, I feel like it would be really funny to see like on commentary one kid actually do really well.
Yeah.
Like actually call a Michinoku driver correctly. Haggle.
Do better than Michael Cole.
Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah,
Fun, Maggle.
yeah. Like I said,
What
again,
a maneuver!
this isn't going to be a
Traditional Blue Thunder Bomb.
this isn't going to be a show for us, except for maybe you, Kobe. I don't know.
Me. This is gonna be my show. I'm gonna love.
Yeah,
We're
so-
all
but-
kids at heart. I mean,
I'm
we're talking
I'm
about
for it.
wrestling,
No,
and
I'm
Dan's wearing a Bootio shirt.
Yeah, I'm totally for it.
They
Like,
make sure you ain't
I'm-
booty.
Wait, booty.
I'm for this show. Like
Yeah.
definitely.
Like it
yes.
has to be like unscripted. It has to be like kids say the darndest things. Just let them say what they want. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it needs to be like I said, the NXT Kids pilot. If you haven't seen that, you can find it online fairly easily.
do
I think it
that.
is on
I
YouTube.
watched that.
And it was like I said, it's kids. There is some like silly stuff about talking about like how tall the Big Show is and whatnot. There's some silly shit in there, but I think it could be interesting and that's really distracting, Peruzzi, so stop it. Yeah, so next one, for this. I think we're all unanimously in favor of this one, for sure.
Wait, who's reading this next one?
Everyone has a price. A new series follows auctioneers all over the U.S. as they seek out, acquire, and sell off priceless WWE memorabilia.
So this is going to be like one of those...
Storage Wars or something like that?
Yeah, like reclamation shows or whatever for memorabilia.
Is Ted DiBiase hosting it? Because
I was thinking
yeah.
that.
given the name, it has to happen. I think.
Yeah, really. Yeah, this could be... I mean, like, I like comic book men, which this kind of reminds me the most about. And to see, like, old WWE memorabilia, which is actually interesting because I have, like, a couple things that I actually, like, would this kind of remind me of because my family lives in Stamford, Connecticut, so there's a lot of, like, old shit floating around in, like, their attics and stuff. So this could be interesting. I don't like necessarily the format of like having to follow a couple people who have this stuff, but if it was like a central thing that was set up where people brought in their stuff and got it valued, like I'd watch it.
More of like an Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, like I said, or like a comic book man, or like a Pawn Stars, where there's a central place where they're doing this. Like I'd watch it.
Even if it's like on the road, on the spot, I hope they like do like little explain what it is. Like, oh, this is the belt from this and this and such and such.
That
could
could be
something
fun.
like that.
That could be really fun.
Now this next one is one that I got hooked onto the original series this year, and now I want to see it with this Legends House Attitude. Legends from WWE, WCW, and ECW live in a house together as the Monday Night War is reignited inside the Legends House.
Jesus Christ!
Pretty much, I just want to see Stone Cold and Stone Cold and Gregory Helms complaining about Rob Van Dam smoking pot.
But this isn't going to be Stone Cold. Like, Gregory Helms and Rob Van Dam are definitely names that could be there, but Stone Cold ain't getting within a fucking mile of this thing. It's going to be like Val Venus, and I don't know.
Tommy Dreamer.
They had Roddy Piper in the original, and Howard Finkel and Gene Okerlund.
Okay,
I
can see Piper is a big name. I don't know about those other people, but
get Schimmelin and I'm good.
I don't know. I never had that much interest in the original Legends House. I'm not really that interested.
The original
in this.
was oddly entertaining. I mean, we got to see some of. I believe Patterson was also a part of it. They had Tony Atlas, Hillbilly Jim, Jim Duggan. I think that covers it. But if they did something like this, I want to see just some of the weirder personalities. Yeah. Again, Gregory Helms could be a huge part of this feasibly.
Like, I'd love to see, like, I like to see all of those people, even in the previous Legends House that you mentioned. I love to hear guys telling stories and talking about the old days. I'm not really that interested in them, like, bitching about who, like, fucking ate the peanut butter. Like, I just, not my thing, personally.
Mom, RVD smoking again.
I'm giving this one a thumbs down.
It just depends on who you have on it. Like, if you get the right cast of characters, depending on how long they tape it, it could be very fun. I didn't watch the original one, but this one, if you can get like people like Rob Van Dam, like I said, Gregory Helms, like some different people like Teddy Long, there's like
Cody Rhodes because he's got a Legends deal apparently.
Oh
so.
yeah,
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff, maybe.
Do we see Eric Bischoff this week?
Yeah. Okay. So that was like, I guess, yeah. We'll diverge from there. Do we think Bischoff is going to show back up? I think so. Do we think a lot of people are saying that he should be one of the GMs?
He should have a place in the company for
Vince
sure.
McMahon's going to be on Raw, so he could do exactly what he did for the first draft and be like, "This is going to be running Raw," and then I'm back.
I mean, Bischoff's a good character, and he did a good job before. I'm kind of done with heel GMs, though, in general, and that's what Bischoff's going to be. Although, Bischoff could be it in the way of, like, I'm an asshole, but I want to do the best thing possible, so maybe not as much. Like I said, Bischoff is good in that role. Personally, like, if whoever they're going to do it with, like, I just don't want him to go backwards. Do somebody different. Somebody mentioned Sting, and that could be really interesting.
The names I were hearing were Mick Foley,
Done.
Edge.
Edge might be
Edge.
okay. I can see. Like I said, I just want to see something different. I want to see something. Have like I said, have like fucking Lita or Trish Stratus be one of them. Like have a female GM.
I think Lita would do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe maybe they're not putting Corey Graves on commentary yet because maybe he's going to be one of the general managers just to swerve everybody.
That's a hell of a promotion, but like I said, I think it needs to be someone who's going to be like who's been around a while, but who hasn't been in that role already.
I think Daniel Bryan and Sting would be like the two perfect candidates.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan's a damn good one, and I actually did that on my just after Daniel Bryan retired, I did a Booking a Better Wrestler on him becoming the GM over Triple H and the Authority. So yeah, he would be another great.
They should do a Shane McMahon versus Stephanie McMahon Extreme Rules match on the Raw the day before the draft to determine who will run one show, and then Vince McMahon comes out after that match and says like Daniel Bryan and Stephanie McMahon will be opposing GMs just for fun.
Yeah, or just keep Shane and Stephanie as the heads of one, and then appoint one for another. Like, they're doing all this thing of like who's going to be, Shane wants this one or Stephanie wants this one. Be like, no, you're still both running Raw or SmackDown, and then
or just have them be like overseers for the first couple of months and just have two new.
That's true. Yeah, I would be perfectly fine with just two totally new faces. Completely.
Bring back Teddy Long so we can figure out what a 6-pack Iron Man challenge is.
No,
whatever that is, I want to see it.
Don't bring back Teddy Long, at all. All right, all right. Back on the network list.
People power.
Let's keep it going.
No, I think Dan do this one.
Next one is the WWE Superstar Diva Search. Yeah. WWE Hall of Famers Trish Stratus and Lita return in the Ultimate Search for the next female WWE Superstar. Team Trish and Team Lita will consist of 10 women competing in physical, verbal, and mental challenges, all vying for the ultimate prize of a WWE talent contract. Same thing we've seen before, pretty much.
This is probably just like a female Tough Enough.
Or get CM Punk and Matt Striker on commentary.
Before, right?
Yeah, it will probably be I hope they're past the sitting in pie competition or whatever the fuck it was. I hope that they're at the point where they're going to take this a little bit more seriously, and hopefully they'll even change the name up, because Divas has been, except for Total Divas, it's been removed from their nomenclature completely. If this is, if I get to see a bunch of really good women's talents, going through for a shot, then that's fine. But it seems like this is going to be more like we're going to grab, like, kind of Tough Enough, either rookies or people who don't have any training at all, and then give them a contract. Like, it's gonna be lame and it sucks. And that's when you have women out there like Jessica Havoc and Candice LeRae and Kimberly, and then you're gonna have this bullshit to determine who's gonna get a contract for fucking WWE.
Yeah.
That's an insult.
I mean, from Lucha Underground alone, you have cheerleader Melissa as Mariposa, Sexy Star doing amazing things, Ivelisse Santaya, which is a match I really want to see.
Yeah.
But anyways, the type of thing with that, I just hope that there's no person who goes in there and says their favorite match is Melina versus Alicia Fox.
What's wrong with that match?
You know what? I don't care. I don't care what your favorite match is if you're passionate enough, and everybody gets into professional wrestling in a different way. And everybody, like Cameron has been the butt of a joke forever for that. But that doesn't mean, one thing one way or another to me. I just want, like I said, if you're somebody who is, who is a model or something, and you want to become a professional wrestler, awesome, like, fantastic. I want you to do well. I want you to get to WWE one day. Put in the time and put in the effort and go for it. But if you're gonna go on a show and then become another Ashley Massaro, there's too many good women out there now that I really can't excuse you being here. So just, go to the back of the line, join, fucking talk to Lance Storm like every other goddamn women's wrestler in the world, and then work your way up, and then we'll see in 6 years.
What is all of our favorite matches? Without getting too deep into it.
Like ever, like
yeah,
straight
favorite
up.
wrestling match ever.
Okay. Dan,
mine is Michael's Hart Iron Man match.
Sean,
It's the one that got me
I don't
into
even
it.
know. That's like, give me like 2 minutes and I'll just blurt it out later.
Kobe.
The first thing that comes to mind is Ishii versus Shibata from Wrestle Kingdom 10. I haven't seen any of their others, but that one, it got me introduced to strong style. It was something different, and the different matches are the ones that really do it for me. That Jordan and Gable versus Dawson Wilder at NXT
those are
Takeover.
good matches.
That's my
And
favorite
of course,
tag
we're
match
gonna
of all
talk
time.
about different, the final deletion.
All right, so you throw a gun to my head, and I probably tell you Shawn Michaels Undertaker WrestleMania 25.
I was thinking that one.
But if we're expanding it out beyond that, pretty much any Dean Malenko Rey Mysterio match from their series in '96, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio and Halloween Havoc in '97 is probably right up there.
You got me worried there for a moment. I thought you were gonna say that ladder match for the
No,
con.
Jesus. Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi is way up there. The Wrestle Kingdom 9 match that they had. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles, Turning Point 2006 is another really good one. I have so many, but like I said, if we're talking, if I had to pick absolutely one, Sasha Banks versus Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn is another excellent one. Bull Nakano versus
Alundra Blaze.
No, Bull Nakano versus Aja Kong in the Tokyo Dome cage match. Aja Kong versus Manami Toyota, which is probably the best women's match ever, and Manami Toyota is probably the best wrestler, period, that's ever lived. So there's a lot, but yeah, like I said, if you made me choose one, it's Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
I think if I had to pick one, just because he's like one of my favorite wrestlers, it'd be like Edge McFoley from Mania.
Yes, that was a really good one too. Very, very
And
good.
then like one I saw recently was like Sabre Jr. and Nakamura and Sabre Jr. and Balor or Prince Devitt.
Yep.
Those are some really good matches. And I like the Revival Alphas match from the first time. That was a really good.
That
match.
was, I said it then. That's the best tag match I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the London match. Yeah, that's probably up there as the best tag match ever, in terms of just pure wrestling and not like, I guess because beyond that it was probably maybe one of the TLC matches.
Yeah, I was about to say like the TLC match where I think it was the last time Eminem was together, where Mercury broke his nose.
Oh.
in that-
Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I can't consider that a favorite just for the fact of poor Joey Mercury
I
was
think-
dying.
I want to say like that whole string of like TLC matches they had for like that 2 or 3 years with the tag team division. That pay-per-view was really, really good.
Yeah.
So, like London and Kendricks, Eminem, Carlito and them. It was really good back then.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and keep going here. What's the next show?
I think it's Extreme Eats. Real life best friends Bubba Ray Dudley and Tommy Dreamer team up to unearth the coolest, most mouth-watering, and most extreme eats this country has to offer.
Man, did you think either of these guys were in ECW fucking 15 years ago when they were like each like 25 or whatever, and they're like, you know, man, we're busting our asses, we're fucking bleeding in front of like 150 people every night here, but someday we're gonna have a show on an internet,
probably like, homie,
on an
we made
internet
it.
network about eating food. Like, what the-
Anthony Bourdain copyright infringement.
yeah. Whatever. I'm fine. Sure. This could be okay. This could be
Yeah.
interesting.
See,
I don't know.
I'm torn on all of these, like, very similar to other shows we already have things, because it's like, I don't want it to be copies, but this is the only chance we would have to see wrestlers in that role, so, like, it's kind of a good and bad,
That's what we were talking about earlier with TNA. Their stars are branching out, doing other stuff. Like, it's more exposure. Like, how stupid these things are. You're going to say, oh, you remember when Tommy Dreamer ate that thing on the network? You ever say things
I
like
think
that.
they missed the opportunity to do that type of show. They could have called it Feed Me More.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on here.
This
I
one.
have the list now. Do you want me to read off because you guys have one reading? Okay. Almost all of these I hate going forward. So. Let's go with the third wheel. 2 WWE fans agree to a blind date with a camera crew documenting their experience. What they don't know is that they're about to be joined by a very opinionated WWE superstar, Michael P.S. Hayes.
Kevin Owens.
That's not listed. The third wheel.
Chris Jericho
Jericho.
calling everyone a stupid idiot.
Oh, you stupid idiot. Did you really order that?
At the end of the evening, everyone, the third
Why
wheel
didn't you
included,
kiss her?
will vote on whether or not there will be a. So this is like blind dates. With the dating game or kind of mixed
so
in.
like The Bachelor
No,
swerved.
I would rather be fucking lit on
This may be
fire
my
before watching
blackness
the show.
showing, but there was a show back on BET called Hell's Date, where it was like
I've seen
two
that.
people
I've seen that.
and like they were going on a date, and like it would just be like the most horrible thing ever, and this little devil would just run up like, "Ha, you're on Hell's Date." It could be something like that.
I would rather be lit on fire than watch this show.
The way I
Unless
would like
Kevin
this-
Owens.
The way I would like this is because they're both WWE fans. If you find out who they like and don't like, and have it be somebody they both don't like,
So I propose that we have Peruzzi go on this show.
I'll do it.
Newly hitting the singles market, Peruzzi. Let's get him on this.
And then let's have the Miz insult the mess out of him just to really rub it in his face.
No, I think the Miz would say good things about it.
Yeah,
He
true.
likes
I
the
love
Miz too much.
Miz.
all of my dreams right there.
I love
Dagger to the
Miz.
heart. Dagger to the heart.
All right. Ask Me Anything Live. Fans get unprecedented access to ask their favorite superstars and the opportunity to ask them anything and everything via phone, Skype, and social media in this one-of-a-kind forum live on the WWE Network. So this would totally be regulated because they're not just going to let anybody say anything at any time. And they probably shouldn't, to be fair, because how many times do we want to hear can we see your tits to Lana or something like that? Which is what we would get. So
They had that segment on the Edge and Christian show where it was like, "Are we going to talk about it?" And they can play it off like that if they were to ask certain questions, like, "What do you guys think about the final deletion?" and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. This could be interesting, but I feel like I don't know. I don't think that there's enough interesting questions that people are going to ask to make this a whole show. I could see this being at the end of a show talking about somebody in particular, if they did a thing where they did a thing on Cesaro, and then this was kind of the end of that. I could see that, but as its own show, I don't like it.
Why don't
should
they
be
do these at the end of the podcast? Have a 30-minute Q&A.
Right.
15 minutes on a Stone Cold podcast where they take a bunch of fan questions. That's perfect.
That's actually one of those things that could really work depending on who does it. Again, I think that if they had any of those people who have worked long and hard on the independent scene, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Gallows and Anderson, maybe, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but maybe just have AJ Styles again, and then the Young Bucks come in and just super kick the mess out of Styles.
Just for GP.
I mean, I like I said again, I always like the idea of wrestlers telling stories and telling their experiences. But I feel like we have Table for Three, we have Ride Along. There's enough shows that
And
kind
we have
of
Ric
do
Flair
that
at the Hall
already.
of Fame.
Yes. So I feel like that there's enough shows already that do that I don't necessarily need to know if I need them asked by fans, because the fans are, I don't know. I don't have enough faith in the general, and I'm usually the one that sticks up for the general wrestling fan, but I don't have enough faith in the general wrestling fan to ask enough interesting questions to make this a good show, personally.
I love that they call this a one-of-a-kind forum. Yes, AMAs are totally unheard of.
Yes.
Never been done before. Hasn't been done since.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Ask Me Anything, for fucking Christ's
Call it
sakes.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. Sean, read I'll pass it over to you.
All right, we have Totally NXT. Follows 6 of the most competitive women doing whatever it takes to navigate the developmental system of NXT. Each season, so it's going to be seasons, a dream will come true as one amazing female athlete is given the opportunity of a lifetime to not only move up to the main roster of WWE, but also become one of the new faces of the Total Divas.
No.
Can I pronounce this?
So you're taking 6 competitive, 6 competitive women, and then turning them into actors. That's what they just said.
Yes.
I think the only way this could work is 2 words: Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not saying that they're, like I said, they'll be good, but this is basically just going to be an NXT version of Total Divas.
No, I think
with
Bliss
with
could
the thing,
absolutely.
with it being you get promoted to Total Divas. No, Jesus, no.
No, I think it
Not
should
where
be
we
a
want
swerve
any-
where at the end Bliss says no to Total Divas, then she comes in on Raw whenever Raw happens, and just tries to beat the crap out of someone, and then.
Can we just replace Dana Brooke with Alexa Bliss? Can we just do that?
I like Dana
I
Brooke.
like Dana
I like
Brooke.
Dana Brooke a lot.
Though
I think I'm the person who doesn't.
I was
thing
fangirling
is-
during that period when Dana Brooke was with Emma in NXT, I would actually freak out whenever Dana Brooke would say, "That was 3!" Whenever
So-
got a 2 count, so.
So Dana Brooke started off hating her like everybody else, but Dana Brooke went out of her way to be as obnoxious and stupid looking as possible, and I really appreciate that. And she's a good lackey, and I've gotten to the point where like it's a thing of like you love like the Asuka match really did it for me.
Yeah.
Where I don't think Asuka's debut would have been nearly as hot if it wasn't Dana Brooke being just the most snarky, ridiculous asshole she possibly could to her the whole time. Dana Brooke does a really great job with that. I like Dana Brooke a lot. I like Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss is probably better in terms of just the overall package. But I like Dana Brooke. Them calling her up now is weird, but they were bringing her up with Emma. Emma got hurt, so they had to call an audible. It's either do something else with her or send her back to NXT. Don't want to move her backwards. Let's keep her going. So I'm totally fine with Dana.
I feel like Dana Brooke is today's Vicky Guerrero, where it's like, as the obnoxious heel manager, I feel like if Dana Brooke were the manager of, say, Dolph Ziggler, like Ziggler and Dana Brooke, that has a lot of potential. Actually,
they date in real life, so
wait, Ziggler and
My
Dana
boy.
Brooke?
yeah.
That's all I'm talking
No,
about.
think about it. Cass and Carmella, Murphy and Bliss,
Yeah.
Brooke and Ziggler,
Sure.
that could actually work, because
Yeah.
think about it. Ziggler could say, my career needs some revitalization, and I'm going to look for someone to help that. And then Dana Brooke just, like, comes in and is like, I can help.
I'd be for it. I'm good with it.
And then, of course, maybe add a third person, and then take that third person out, and Brooke could be like, that was 3!
Or you can just oh, that was terrible.
I'm terrible.
You can add Ziggler to the Charlotte Dana Brooke mix. That they're all pretty self-absorbed people. Go for it. But as far as the show goes, no, I don't want to see an NXT version of Total Divas. I feel like it's backsliding on everything that NXT does. NXT is the reason that we have the women's championship now. It is moving forward, and for them to just try and basically revert women's wrestling to what it was. Like I said, I would fucking love a show that just focused on the women of WWE and the women's wrestling and how hard this is, and just focused on them. I'd love that. But they're never ever going to do it without it being like the bullshit like drama and boyfriend stuff. They're never going to do that.
That's what I was just about to ask
I just
about.
don't
Are they
see it.
reformatting Total Divas now since the Bellas are getting their own show? Because if they reformat Total Divas, it could like actually work.
I am just terrified that whatever, like we're gonna see something. We're gonna see like Alexa Bliss or Bailey or something.
Bailey should not go
what
next
happens with
year.
them happened to what happened to Paige happened to them. Where just Paige was such an interesting and dynamic character and wrestler in NXT, and then she moves up to the Raw roster, and now all anybody gives a shit about is whether or not she's banging Alberto Del Rio. She is. Stop pretending like that's not a real thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
But who like I said, it's just she's not. Nobody cares about her as a wrestler anymore at all. And what that's the decision she made. I'm sure she did it for a reason. She probably if she enjoys it or it's just gonna make her money or for whatever reason that's the path she took. She wants to go more down the diva side than the wrestler side, and that's fine. That's her decision. But as somebody who really loved Paige as a wrestler, I don't want to see that happen with anybody else.
Maybe that was a longevity thing with her career. Maybe like the creatives, it was like, we don't really have anything to do with you right now. We can put you on Total Divas that we can still have some kind of TV time.
Absolutely. And that's smart. And I mean, the Bellas had, over a decade-long career there by basically doing nothing in terms of wrestling. And even then, they both tried to work hard towards the end. And like I said, I'm not giving her shit for the decision she makes with her life and her career. It's just me being a fan of what she used to do in terms of this art. And she's not doing that anymore. I'm sad because I know what she can do, and I just don't feel like she's doing that thing that I liked anymore.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about Dana Brooks. I feel like she should have stayed in NXT a little while longer just to get her a little bit more momentum before, she got put in the bad place. Like, she was called up for Emma. Emma got hurt. And then the better thing is to be put with Charlotte. But I don't know. It's just not. I enjoy Dana Brooks, but something with this Charlotte thing is not clicking. I don't know if they're telling her to act a little goofier or something. It's just not clicking. Like, but when she goes out there and actually wrestles, like, what was it, SmackDown? She actually had a good match with Bailey Kay or whatever her name is. It was
Billy Kay.
Billy Kay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I love Billy.
But
Really good
I don't know. It's just something about her and I think it's just her and Charlotte don't really mix.
Yeah, I don't. It's definitely because like Emma was just kind of the quiet ass kicker who's just quiet and confident, and then Dana Brooks her little yappy dog that she brings down to the ring. Charlotte talks a lot anyways. She doesn't really need a yappy dog.
Exactly.
You know, like Enzo was the yappy dog to Big Cass. You pair up somebody who likes to talk and likes to shit talk with somebody who doesn't need to. Emma's just a brutal ass kicker of a wrestler. She doesn't need that, so she lets her mouthpiece do the talking for her. And then, but Charlotte, yeah, I agree. I don't like the way that they match up necessarily, but again, it was just a bad spot, and they had to work with what they had. So, all right. So let's just get through this one as quickly as possible. 50 dates, 50 states. A WWE Bachelor goes on 50 dates in 50 states on an Ultimate. This is Ring Rat, the television show. WWE Bachelor goes on 50 dates in 50 states on an ultimate quest to find true romance. The show offers unprecedented access to a superstar's personal life and challenges in finding that special someone while traveling on the road that never ends. Nope. Don't care. Don't.
Okay,
want
there's
this.
one.
Nope.
There's one name that immediately comes to mind that could make this interesting. No Way Jose.
Sure, let's.
59 states. No Way
50,
Jose.
59 states.
That I want to see.
What are they teaching you in that boarding school, Kobe?
That I want to see.
Shit, I'm glad you guys did.
Okay, 49 states. No Way
There's-
Jose. 50th state. Jose finally says yeah.
I don't know.
Oh God, that was a bad part.
I hope it's
I'm
just
so
not
glad this is
one.
recorded.
If it's like a different person every episode, just to switch it up, it'd be more interesting than just seeing. I don't want to see somebody just going around doing the same things. No. Like, I want to see somebody else get rejected every week. I want to
50
see
States of
Kane
Zack
get
Ryder.
rejected. Then I want to see King get rejected. I want to see just certain people. Michael Cole, I know he's married or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Just somebody different every week.
I mean, okay, so I'm rejecting all these because I wouldn't want to see them personally. That isn't to say that they, again, there's different demographics than what I like. There's women and men who are much more interested in the romantic lives of celebrities and
Yeah,
other
this
people.
would be definitely a woman's show.
But
Unless they try to make it funny. No Way Jose.
yeah, so like I said, it's not for me to say that they shouldn't do it. I don't know, because like I said, you want to cover multiple demographics with your show. There are, like I said, there are women, there are men who would be interested in something like this. If you want to do that for them, fine. I'm just not interested in it. But closing up with our final one, WWE Investigates chronicles the most interesting and provocative stories in WWE history. This multi-part miniseries spans 3 to 5 episodes per topic and uncovers the truth behind the most fascinating and real subjects in the history of sports entertainment, such as the life and legacy of Eddie Guerrero. This could be an amazing show if it wasn't on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
If it wasn't on the WWE Network, this could be a really interesting show, because I feel like the most interesting stuff they are not going to talk about on the network. Like, again, Benoit.
I was thinking that.
And that's the thing, that's the problem, is that they do this show, and this show is going to be like, the stories that are the best suited for the show are going to be the ones they're not going to talk about. Like I said, the Benoit thing, Owen Hart, what really happened on that, like that night and what went down with
Montreal
that.
screw job, like actually going in depth on that.
Yeah, but they've done that a
Yeah,
thousand
they've done
times.
But that's going to be something like
Yeah.
premiere for them.
Although I'm not really interested in it personally, if you're talking about interesting and provocative stories, the Stephanie McMahon Macho Man thing.
Oh, they're definitely not going to touch on that.
They're
They
never,
want that dead
never in a billion years. But I'm saying, like, that's the sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
If they wanted to make it comedic, they could do one on the Shockmaster.
I don't know. I think they'd be better suited off playing the straight faced. But like I said, this could be interesting. But I just feel like the really interesting ones, like, just basically like taking a lot of wrestlers that died young and looking like, what the fuck happened, like, and you don't want the show to necessarily.
I see them
be
doing something like the
morbid,
breakup
but-
of Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, like what happened between that.
They could do
stuff
that
like
with ECW, WCW.
So, but the thing is that this seems like it's not going to be kayfabe. Like this
Yeah.
seems like it's going to be a shoot. So, like looking into the breakup of the Rocker, I mean, like I guess you could talk about like the personal tensions between Mario Jannetty and Shawn Michaels there. That could be interesting.
The clicks effect on the locker room.
The clicks effect on the locker room could be a really good one. I was gonna say like the Undertaker being a locker room leader during that time, and the Shawn Shawn Michaels. You could do like 5 episodes on Shawn Michaels.
What was it, Brock and Goldberg leaving the company?
The Brock Goldberg thing. That could be a good one. The Shawn Michaels, how hurt really was his back, and his return.
All the quad
The Rock
tears, like
coming
what's up
back.
with that?
Yeah, okay, the return of the Rock.
Or they could do, depending on how they go with this, going inside WWE, getting all these international talents, like maybe getting the Bullet Club, more into how that affected the locker room dynamic, because guys who've been working their butts off for years in WWE, supplanted by these guys from Japan coming in. Like, stuff like that could be very interesting.
or taking a look at the original version of that, which was the Radicals, which again they won't do because of Benoit. So that's the unfortunate thing, is that like this could be a really, really fascinating show, but I don't think WWE is gonna have the guts to do the ones that people are gonna want to see the most. So I don't know if they should go forward with it for that reason.
I see them doing like little minor things, like why did Triple H and Evolution turn on Orton and things like that. I see them doing stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't. It seems like I don't know if they're going to do this as kayfabe or do this as a shoot, but it says fascinating and real subjects in the history of sports entertainment. So, I'm
Hogan
guessing,
Seems
yeah,
like-
yeah, the Hogan Gawker thing. Yeah,
I was about to say, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do it like that, the first episode you have to talk about Hogan and Gawker and things like that. If you're going to be that real, that way people can know what they're in for.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they will be, so I don't think they should do this show.
Like if it's in kayfabe, that's more of the history of WWE part. Like
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or maybe take a look at Triple H's abs over the years and see how that worked.
Like I said, all the
Can we talk
tears,
about Baron
like,
Corbin's stomach? Can we talk about that?
Poor Baron Corbin.
The only thing bigger than his stomach is his ego.
Aw,
But I
like the Pokemon Go Photoshop. It's like, found this monster on Pokemon Go. It's his stomach.
Poor Baron Corbin.
So, like, if there's 3 that you guys really want to see turned into something, which ones would it be?
Dan, go first.
If I have to pick 3, I want Miz and Mrs.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had to say it. Where'd it go? I'll find it, I promise.
God damn it, Dan. All right, Kobe, we'll go with you.
Yep, going with the person who said 59 states. You're gonna do that one on me every time I know it.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Well,
Legends House Attitude, because that one will actually be extremely... I just feel like that one will have a lot of merit to it. WWE Kids, because I'm an Izzy Mark hardcore, and that would just be absolutely amazing. And the roast of whoever, because come on, who doesn't want to see a roast of whatever? Ric Flair could get roasted. I'd watch a Ric Flair roast for hours.
See, no, I would rather watch wrestling personalities actually like cook a roast. So like actually cooking like a pot roast.
so Extreme Eats is one of the ones you want. Got
Sure.
it.
That's what they can do. They can cross promotion there.
Bubba Ray based.
Yeah. So for me, probably WWE All Access.
Yep.
The talking ones for the post show for pay-per-views. So like talking SummerSlam and then going forward, and then WWE Kids. I think again because like I said, I think that's a good good thing to have for a younger market, and yeah, those are the ones I would greenlight if it was me making the decision. So Peruz, did you find the list again?
Yeah, so Ms. and Mrs. WWE goes viral. Did you expect anything else?
No.
WWE goes viral, assuming they get the right host, and talking SummerSlam, because I think that'd be cool to have.
Okay.
Fans of the business that aren't WWE like personalities just talking about it.
Let's do it. I'll do it.
Different.
I'll host. I'll be the
do it.
host.
Sam Roberts, Adam Blompied, the guys from the whole effing show, and Brian Zane.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brian Zane would probably be a good one for that.
I love Brian Zane.
Yeah, I think for that one you need to pick, like I said, people who aren't like too out there, whose personalities they're not gonna try and get over like the other people. But
Can we get David Arquette on there as a?
yes,
Oh.
yes, that'd be perfect. Have
You
him
know,
be the
Howard
host.
Stern. Why not Howard Stern? You already, or the one that already got God damn it, Jerry.
Bill O'Reilly.
You know, I don't know. I can remember Springer. I can't remember
Jerry
that.
Springer. I like Arquette hosting that would actually be pretty awesome. I think.
You have a former world champ hosting
Yeah,
it. That's perfect.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the ones that are a potential. There's 21 of these. Jesus Christ.
Did we do a Changing the Questions episode about David Arquette at all?
No, we didn't.
Booking
What's
a better wrestler, David Arquette.
What's the question we're gonna ask for David?
Was there a long-term positive to him being champ? Like, is there a? is
Okay,
there a
let's
case
do
to
that
be made?
episode right now.
Not
No.
right now. We need to think about it first.
Hey, we can make jokes about him. That's about it.
Like I said, this is the episode. No.
Okay.
No, we should actually post that.
5-second clip.
20 minutes of just the word no. And no way Jose's music going in the background.
No.
That
no.
and
No,
a
no.
compilation of me and my sound bites on Matt Hardy. So
Like I said, I think it would just be better if it was just like a 5-second episode. No. Done. No promo, no intro, nothing. Just that's it.
Or
You,
maybe
you have to do all of it and just have no, and then just have it ending.
Just
No,
me,
like
me,
all
saying, me saying the question and just getting slapped in the face.
Batman
wait,
Robin
no,
style.
or maybe like getting a compilation of Vicky Guerrero saying "excuse me," and then Jericho at the end saying "you stupid idiot."
All right.
The old bag of bones.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. What were you gonna say something, Brucey?
Did we talk about Brock Lesnar's post-match thing at all?
Oh, about saying people need to come together.
Yeah. Like,
What's there to say?
I think it's awesome that Lesnar, who isn't normally known for his talking ability, took an opportunity like that to say that. I just think it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
And more comically, can that be his gimmick? Like, jacked white boy who just wants everybody to stand together.
The Peacemaker.
Like
Pretty
Brock
much
Lesnar.
Daniel Bryan with muscles.
I think that would be amazing. I just wanted to say that I didn't get a chance to earlier. So
Yeah. Like I said, Brock. Yeah, nice thing. Brock seems like a nice guy, as big and scary as he is. You know, he's.
Maybe him walk into the ring on one of his cows from his farm in Canada.
I think we're just gonna have like Kobe rattles off a bunch of random scenarios for 45
Kobe
minutes. That's what we're gonna have. That's gonna be our new show. Kobe's just gonna talk about random bullshit for 45
Yeah,
minutes.
screw thinking ahead. I would just talk about some of the random
So,
stuff like a question.
what would happen if Sasha Banks came to the ring on the back of a giant eagle? That's just like gonna be the whole show.
Wait, no.
What if the social outcasts they bought a barber shop and then it's 45 minutes of fucking
Wait, no.
Kobe.
Dan versus Miz, WrestleMania 34, underwater.
I love how I came up with
I quit
I love
match.
how the craziest shit I could think of still didn't come close to what Kobe thinks of, just
Wait, no.
immediately off the top of his
Booking
head.
a six-pack Iron Man match between the Elite and the New Day.
All right. We're done.
I'm
It's
thinking
over.
Paul Cry.
just getting good. What do you want about?
We're like a half hour overtime.
Mania on the moon.
What would happen if Brock Lesnar fought Mick Foley in a ring that instead of ropes there was cotton candy? And, like, this is-
No, that's Extreme East. It's got to be Bubba Ray.
No, I should actually do that.
Oh God! All right, let's wrap.
Thinking ahead.
Let's wrap it
Fantasy.
up. Let's wrap it up for Christ's sakes. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks,
thank you for watching this show. Please be sure to check out our website, changingthecues.com. Change the questions where you can get stop it, where you can get recaps of Monday Night Raw, of SmackDown, of NXT. I promise we'll be doing more articles soon. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life lately that I haven't been able to do a lot of writing. Kobe is doing work with his Thinking Ahead podcast, so we're going to be having some more content going up. I am planning on, I think I'm going to do a Cruiserweight Classic recap show,
Yes.
probably do an article for that. So expect to see that on Thursday morning. So we're going to be giving that a lot of coverage, and then we're going to try and get some more podcasts thrown in as well on top of that, back to more of our Changing the Questions, maybe some Booking a Better Wrestler, Time Warps. We're going to try and get some more stuff going out. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search YouTube for Changing the Questions. You can follow us on Twitter at Changing the Qs, same thing, at Changing the QS. If you are watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out. We like hearing from people, and we like getting subscribers. If you want to send us a good old-fashioned email, you can do so at changingthequestions@gmail.com. And for my wonderful group of hosts today, Two Guns Dan Peruzzi, Sean the Gamer, a.k.a. Antoine Clay,
Yo.
and Mr. Random himself, Kobe Schoolman.
Lesnar's pecs versus Corbin's stomach. WrestleMania 37.
My name is Paul Laporte. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Balls count anywhere.